Hi, everyone. Welcome to Appliance Advisors. I'm Francesco, joined as always by my co host, Dennis. Today, we're going to talk about independent retailers versus big box stores. And just to kind of set that off, what I mean by that, where you're purchasing your appliances and really a lot of items that you're purchasing on a day to day basis, the big box stores is one option, which stores like Home Depot, Lowe's, a Best Buy. Then there's independent retailers, people like us, like Yale Appliance. And we wanted to talk to you today, really some of the differences between them. How do we compete on price, being smaller than like per se a company like a Home Depot or someone like that? And what are the things that you should be looking for and asking when you're shopping for appliances?
Great question, natural question, and we get it a lot. And a lot of customers would initially think, for sure, wouldn't Home Depot, Lowe's, Best Buy, those types of brands have much better pricing? I mean, they're huge, huge publicly traded companies. How can an independent like a Yale or any other independent compete on price? The first thing is to understand that independent retailers are generally part of one of two major buying groups, as we call them. Buying groups is a collective of dealers across the US and Canada generally. And there's two majors. There's Brand Source Marketing Group and the Nationwide Marketing Group. And they represent dealers like us and kind of bring us all together. And through that, billions and billions of dollars of appliance purchase power, we are certainly able to compete on price and be equally, if not more important, actually, to the manufacturers than a Home Depot, Lowe's, or a Best Buy. Remember, again, these buying groups, these marketing buying groups only sell, large part, appliances. And that's all we sell, and most independents, as opposed to a Home Depot, Lowe's, or box store. They sell everything from hammers, nails, paint, and appliances. So a lot of times, a lot of focus and really strategy for the manufacturers to like to do business with us. But taken one step further, there's really three types of pricing. The world has changed since the advent of the internet. We all Google, we all do these types of things to try to make sure that we're not paying too much. And just in our general research to understand, what am I going to pay? So let's understand how we compete and how the manufacturers kind of make this a level playing field. The first thing is on any what we call mass premium or premium product, right? And there's a lot there, but it's kind of the things you'd say, oh man, that better dishwasher or those more high-end appliances fall into that mass premium space. They have a thing called UMRP. You'll hear that. Unilateral minimum retail price. And for those brands, they're more focused on brand quality, experience, consumer experience. So they don't have sales ever. Yeah. Meaning the price is the price is the price, whether you go here or to 200 stores knocking on the door. And how they control that is if you get caught violating that price, well, you can lose the line. And so most retailers would never risk losing a whole line of sales over one little sale. That said, as a consumer, you might be like, oh, wow, is that price fixing, price gouging? No, quite candidly, independent retailers, and we'll talk later about this, the margins have been cut so razor thin, which is good for the consumer and takes all the guesswork out of this because customers aren't informed on prices because of the internet. So that's unilateral minimum retail price. The next category of everything else. So I would say like mainline GE, Bosch, Whirlpool, Maytag, kind of
LG.
the mass products that a lot of us own, they fall under by the manufacturer what's called MAP pricing, MAP, and that is minimum advertised price. What that's saying is on any given day, you cannot sell on the internet an item below a certain price or advertise it below a certain price. And really why they're doing that there is, again, because our margins as retailers of the appliances are so razor thin. So they need to ensure that we can still continue to operate and sell the good. So that's minimum advertised price. There is a third category called PMAP. And what that is, promotional minimum advertised price. Those fall on generally maybe a holiday, maybe it's July 4th, Memorial Day, a special sale they run periodically here and there. There again, that is a time where they say, okay, we're going to let you fall below the minimum advertised price we put on the street every day, and we're going to set this as a discount off. Maybe it's 5%, 10%, whatever it was. But again, what they want to make sure is that there's a level playing field. Again, ensuring that manufacturers and retailers can still afford to make enough of a profit to deliver a nice high index or a nice consumer experience back to consumer. That's pricing in a nutshell. the misnomer again and the takeaway here is pricing is set. The prices are lower than they've been in years, with less of these games and gimmicks. And if you are going to a box store, let me assure you, an independent has as good a number and sometimes better, because sometimes beyond just the price, we might have some incentives to rebates that we can access exclusively being a brick and mortar retailer. Because truthfully, as we all know, while we all might buy stuff from box stores, they are not a good consumer experience. They are not. A Best Buy, you can't find a retail salesperson, let alone display. Home Depot and Lowe's, good luck, finding someone that even knows anything about what you're talking about. So there's some incentives generally for the local independent to have a reason, because the experience, this is all we do.
Yeah, and really when you talk about the pricing, and that's a big thing too. It's like, if you're researching, and you absolutely should be researching, making sure you're getting the best price, all those things, no matter what it is you're shopping for. But to exactly what you're saying there, like if you're seeing something that is so far off and so far cheaper somewhere else, something's not right there. Because usually, like you said, if you Google them or you're searching on, like the prices should be really, really close, if not exactly the same anyways. So if you see something that's that far off, you really got to dig further. Is it the exact same model? Is it open box maybe? Like what, something is probably not right there. So some important things to make sure, because again, most, like you said, the margins are so razor thin now that no one's going to be discounting so far above and beyond anybody else that something's probably up if you see something like that too.
Yeah, and where people get stuck is a couple of things. Well, one thing I want to say, kind of a pro tip, you said it. When we Google, as we all do, or do a internet search, you might punch in the model you saw. When you look at things, I think about dishwashers a lot. They all can look the same. The handle, the aesthetic, from as far as you remember in the minutes you were in an independent, you remember what it looked like. You get home, you might even punch in the exact model, and you see, they have that table at the top, and let's say it's $8.99, $8.99, $6.99. Well, they look the same. It sometimes even lists the model in the search. You did the search. But click on the model, and when it redirects you to the page, you need to make sure that it is in fact the model that you truly wanted there. It is a box store and an internet company play. Brands like AJ Madison use it every single day to redirect Home Depot, Lowe's, Best Buy, because they just know otherwise you'd buy it from us. So really, you want to make sure you end up getting delivered what you wanted. That would be one pro tip. The next thing I'd tell you about is, and I will make this statement, I would say 95, 98% of independent retailers are actually less expensive, almost always, than a box store. And I'll make the first point, and maybe you can touch on the second. The first would be delivery.
Yeah.
So the consumer looks, they see both dishwashers are $8.99, but man, this box store has a promotion right now, and it's saying free delivery. Is it ever free, Fran?
Never free.
No, it's never free.
Never
And
free.
actually, an independent retailer is far less expensive, because most reputable independents, what they don't do is they might charge a price for delivery, because we all agree there is no such thing as free delivery. Your gas wasn't free. A good person to do it wasn't free. And if I told anyone, hey, it's free to go lift at this 600-pound refrigerator, you and your buddy, you want to do it? Well, no, you wouldn't want to do it.
Especially in those razor thin
Yeah, it takes
margins we
someone
were
really
talking
skilled to
about.
do it,
Like, yeah, it doesn't really happen like
So
that.
the people that do it now, how the box stores get around it is they advertise free. But man, just sit back. You want to add that to the cart and take that free thing and put it all the way in there and see what drops. They're going to force you to buy hoses, duct kits. They're going to charge you $50 to remove the item, each item. I mean, when you add it up, and we have a bunch of links online where we've done all this research for all the brick and mortar competitors, they average $250 to $400 on an average delivery, where most brick and mortar retailers are $129, $149, $199 for a completed delivery, including removal.
100%.
So that's a hidden one beyond the price.
And with that too, what's important to know there is, like, it's different. Like, we use our own team for delivery. So God forbid there is a damage, and things happen. Of course they do, but we settle that in-house. An independent retailer is more likely to settle that in-house. When you're at a big box store, a lot of times those are contracted out third-party deliveries. Now you might be dealing with a separate company. If your home gets damaged on the delivery, the product's damaged, you might not even be dealing with the people that you bought it from. You might be dealing with the third party that actually did the delivery as well.
So talk to me about installation. Certainly a hidden area of cost.
Installation is absolutely something we talk about all the time, period, no matter where you're buying. But it's so critical to make sure you're asking those questions on who is going to be installing it. For us, we do installation, and we do it all the time, all day, every day. We have Yale employed installers, factory certified, that do all of these installed for all the brands that we carry. When you go to a third party like a big box store, like again, like a Home Depot, Lowe's, they don't employ the people that are doing the installs like that. So if you're doing it, one, it's a third party. Two, you're dealing with a third party that is not only doing appliance
And way more
installations,
expensive.
way more expensive. So again, this is all our team does. And again, an appliance installer, that's all they do. So it's going to be way more efficient, way less expensive. They're going to be certified, but they're also going to do the job right.
There's
It's
no
not-
passing buck. There's no
Correct.
passing the buck.
It's
you know?
not somebody that's doing, maybe appliance installation today and, some random install that Home Depot sold tomorrow. So, all they're doing is appliances here.
So to this point, we believe the price is the same, regardless. We believe they mislead with their hidden prices of delivery, which is true. They're more expensive. We know that installation, one of the hardest and a lot of touch points in it, are generally far more expensive. And we know they're passing the buck in the middle. So if something goes wrong, it's, well, we didn't do it, they did, and all that, and you're stuck in the middle. And we're talking about dishwasher. We know the margins raised then. How much cheaper can they even be? What's your time, energy, effort worth? Now, there's more, right? Because we got to also talk about some hidden things.
Yeah.
So let's just say you are that customer and you've looked and you're at a Home Depot, Lowe's, and you find that dishwasher and it's a Labor Day sale coming up. And man, it seems like a good deal and you buy it. But you're not going to need it for about 8 weeks because it's part of you putting a new floor in or new counters, or you're doing a little spruce up or a kitchen project. How do the box stores operate then?
So there is no real 8 weeks to be able to take that. You're really paying in full and you're scheduling delivery for at most 30 days out when you're buying at a big box store. Independent retailers, very different. Most times, they're going to take a deposit, 50% or something like that. That will lock in the pricing. So you're guaranteed on that price for a set period of time. And then from there, you can really take the delivery just about whenever you're ready for it. 6 months down the line, if you're ready for it, that's when you take it. You can't do that at the big box stores.
Well, again, pro tip there is to pay attention to your rebates. If part of your purchase, regardless whether you bought it at a box store or an independent, is a lot of times people do. They hyper focus on these holidays. And we think that that's a good time to buy. But sometimes, man, we're so hooked up on the savings that we realize, and we don't read the fine print of maybe a mail-in rebate that was part of to get us to that promotional pricing. Wow, I have to take this within 2 weeks and mail in the serial number and have it delivered within 2 weeks after that. Like, if you don't need it for 8 weeks, you're going to miss that maybe rebate that's out there. So again, it's just being informed and asked those questions. But again, most brick and mortars, 50% deposit. Better ones will be refundable up to the day before delivery.
May change.
Box stores are 100%. You got a schedule right there on the spot.
Exactly.
Okay? The last thing we should talk about is just overarching. You touched on it, but I will tell you this, and we'll publish an article on this. The average appliance produces 28 to 30 points of profit before an appliance store pays a bill. That is the industry, folks. Let me just pull the rug right off it. That's what it is. And if that's the case, and someone is a dealer you want to work with that has some level of a quality display, decent salespeople, delivery service, they're a real appliance outfit, it costs 25 to 27% to just pay those folks and pay your heat and electricity and everything else to operate that business.
Yeah.
So if you're making 28 to 30, you're working on 1, 3, 4%.
Yeah.
3 to 4 cents of every dollar may be dropping to the bottom line. So if you're looking at that $8.99 dishwasher and it's $7.99 somewhere else, it's 12, 15% less, stop. Let me assure you, they've done something to get there. Either they bait and switched you, it's an open box product, they have awful reviews because they don't have any of that infrastructure, and your experience is just going to be worse. And we know this stuff breaks and is tough. There's a reason, or they're going out of business, or a bunch of other reasons.
There's some red flag for sure.
And that was not always the way it was, but that is the beauty and the power of the internet.
Yeah.
But we live in a fast-paced world. We can't just breeze through in a quick second. And this sounds so self-serving, but it really is in this case. Your interest, whether it's Yale or somewhere else in a different part of the country or wherever you're at, give an independent retailer a try 110% of the time, because at the very least, you can walk back in that door and see that person you bought it from not be saying, I don't remember their name. I don't know. I think they came over from the paint section and they helped me.
Yep.
You know?
And last for me too, and you said the word, certainly not the least important thing. One of the most important things we're talking about here today is the service. Like you said, like service is critical. And that's not always, listen, even when you're shopping at independents, you still need to make sure you're asking who services the appliances. But I can tell you, big box stores, they don't have service. You're dealing with the manufacturer, which if you've watched any of our videos or you've dealt with it yourself, you know that is not where you want to be for appliance services, relying on the manufacturer. You really want to go somewhere that is servicing what they sell too. So really critical to make sure you're checking on all those points like we talked about today.
So, breaking news. There's no difference in the retail price, but there's a lot of difference in the bottom line price, and certainly in the experience you're going to have. So
Absolutely.
be informed, be great consumers.
And that's it. Thank you.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for appliance tips and updates from Yale Appliance.
Your feedback is what shapes our series. Like what you saw, give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
Stay informed and inspired on all your appliance needs. This is Appliance Advisors signing off.